Hello and welcome to Assemblies of the World with me, Anna Isabel. And it is with great pleasure that I welcome my guest today, who is Istvan Ezsias. I think I remembered your name correctly.
Yes, you did.
Good. Okay. Now, I thought it would be great to have you on this program because I know that you are involved with a very interesting project involving an alternative to the currency that we have all known and loved and hated in equal measure. So tell us what it is, tell us what it's about, and how we're working with it.
Okay, thank you, and thank you first of all this invitation and allowing me to express and share this information, which I'm greatly passionate about, because I believe, yes, as you said beautifully, that we the current system we have this hate and love, and this so much conflict around it. But yeah, I mean, any financial system or a financial system there is a place for it. We do know that it's because there is tremendous benefits, around having a financial system or having an exchange system, put it that way. That actually, so it makes our life, much more ease with that. So we don't have to barter with things, as it was way back before, let's say, we introduced this type of exchange to the world. But it's how I see it's really moved or created something in the current financial system where we all feel that somehow the value is lost. It's not exactly how we want to live through that value, what we give our energy into. Because what is value? It's if you look at from that perspective, value is always what we add to it, and that is somehow is measured in pounds, whatever, we're using the existing currency system. But we just feel that we don't get enough out of it, so it's not something that we put in, and we will get the same get back what it's really needed. And there are certain, and we're very much aware of that, certain trades, certain jobs that is greatly undervalued. And we know that we both in the farmers groups. I mean, you leading that, and I'm very much passionate about that, simply because my parents, they were farmers also, and I know from a young age, I know that how greatly they suffered. And also it's the knowledge wasn't there at the time, but even if the knowledge is there, to do great farming, it's still the value, especially nowadays, even worse, because everything is going so big, and local small farmers, they just don't have the capacity or the ability to actually do the good things and live out of it, right? So going back a little bit more in time, that in the last uh, almost a decade, we've been searching for different options, different financial systems, or this different system in general, not just finance, but a different system where we can live and create a better life for all, not just for some of us. And it wasn't about speculation or calculations, but really dropping everything, and how we can build a system that is actually works and actually helps all of us to create value and retain that value within the system, within the system and the community what we're building. And the greatest thing what we found is actually it comes through non-resistance. So until we resist something, then we against something. And this is where it's like, even with life is always in the flow. So it's like, if there is a resistance, it finds its way around. And we used everything what we built. It's nothing new here. What is new actually is that we're using nature as a powerful teacher. For everything what we built in this new system, we used nature as an example, and that's how everything grows stable, and people getting more out of what not more, I mean it's more, but in a way it's more than it's compared to the current financial system. Then we're getting more because we actually getting what we really deserve. So we're using the current financial system as a mirror, reflecting how we value things. So we'll be able to do that, and using nature as a metaphor. For example, how we grow. Just going back a little bit to try. I will bring you an example. Yeah, like we all like. I mean, we all experience breathing. Yeah, for example, as breathing air, we have this abundance around us, and we don't even think about breathing air. It's we just take it like and as it comes, and still without air, without the ability to breathe, we cannot live for so long. It's like a few minutes. But still, with money, it's kind of different because we can live much longer without money. But still, we so much stressed about it. We so much thinking about it that we don't have enough. So that's this type of worry and mindset creates this stress and fear, all in our psyche, which obviously doesn't help because we're constantly worrying about that something is not there. So what we implemented from that example is like money has to be floating, has to be breathed in as like air. We breathe air, so it has to be that kind of abundance, because if there is not, then we don't function as how we should function. So that's where we have this common goal, is like we all becoming millionaires, financially abundant. Yeah. And whatever that takes, on an individual level, is like what we're going to do with the freedom, because this is ultimately gives us, all of us, freedom, accepting that we all have, because by nature, this is by design, we all have everything by design, by God's design. And this is where we created the math, and I'm still getting goosebumps because it's like when I found out that it's literally by design, we have everything. Just is the birthright. We came to this planet Earth. We already have everything. So anything that we lost, and we come into this, to the society, born into this, and this society teaches us that it's that is not enough, which is not true. The Lana infrastructure, the Lana economy is going to be, imagine, it's going to be tens, hundreds of times bigger than the current one, because the current one is so much suppressed. And this is why we feel that there is not enough, because it's taking away. We're giving more and more, so we need a much bigger, let's say, financial infrastructure, which is already, like, we have the ability to have that. And it's going to be much bigger than the current one, because everybody's going to experience much more abundance around it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I want to just take you back, because everything's been very abstract. And I think it's because you're wanting to create a distinction between what we are already familiar with and something new. Yes. So the issue with currency as we know it is that it's aiming to achieve a number of things. It's aiming to place value on something so that it replaces barter. So I give you this for this much, and we go back to times when it was gold, and it made sense when it was gold because there was a perceived value for gold that was cohesive. And so it was like speaking the same language. And then in time, like 20th century, we decouple gold from the currency, which creates all sorts of other challenges. But the biggest issue with currency as we know it is that it has ceased to be a pure means of exchange and has instead become a lever of power, which is manipulated and which is restricted in order to manipulate the population. And therefore, we have some people with too much, as in they're not feeding it back into the system.
Yeah.
At best, they are hoarding it. At worst, they are using it to create things that are unhealthy for society as a whole. And I'm being very delicate in the way I put that.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
We all
know.
know that.
Yes.
So currency is no longer about exchange, but it is about power and who has power.
Yeah.
And so the access to that currency is now restricted, and the flow is choked in order to prevent everybody from having access to it, because there's a few who use it as a lever of power over the rest of the population. Okay, so this is a problem, for sure, it is. And yet we have bills to pay that we still have to do in that currency, because we are not yet fully independent from that system which uses this currency. Now, you're talking about something different, and you called it Lana. Can you spell that for everyone so that everyone has a good sense of the name?
Lana. Yeah.
Yes. So can you spell it so that we...
Lana.
Lana. So it is Lana. It's just that sometimes with English pronunciation, it could have been ER on the end. So I wanted to make that clear for everybody. So Lana, it's very simple.
Yes.
So is this a currency, an alternative currency that is tangible, or is it a digital system?
When you say tangible, can you explain that? Or
when we're using money, when we're using cash,
yes,
the beginnings of the currency that we're familiar with was cash, so that was a tangible thing that we could count and see. It's also something we could put into the piggy bank, or we can put under the mattress, or take our chances and put it in the banks, right?
Yes.
So what is Lana in effect?
Okay. Yeah. So from that sense is digital. So it's let's put it that way. So the whole idea, what it's built on, because it's built on blockchain. So is the whole system, and that's where we gain the sovereignty back on our own money. So we all, the bankers, within Lana, every member is a banker of their own assets. So nobody there are no third party, who's involved in that. Therefore, it's really responsibility takes place, because everybody has to look after their own, wallets and what is in that wallet. So it's digital, but on the other side is totally independent from the system, from anybody else. Therefore, we highly recommend. So we have, for example, now we have cards. So this is like a bank card. It's a nicely, beautifully designed card that we're using for transactions and such. The code here. So yeah, I think you will see. So this is a QR code. Yeah. So the code here, this is for every member, and this code, for example, is, so if you lose this code, then you lose what you have. So it's the same thing as when you keep your money, let's say, under your pillow. But if you go away from home and you leave maybe the oven on, and the house catch fire, and then you lose everything, right? Here is, unless, and I don't believe that the internet system will break down, because that's not, it's not designed for that. But even so, until that we have this and you have this, you safe, right? Because nobody can take it away from you. Yeah. and we keep it like, for example, I have not under my bed, but I keep these like in different locations. Yeah, and one is in my garden, dug underneath, like a treasure. It's like it's in the ground, so I have access to it. This is why I keep saying to everyone that it's that's
Okay.
how we take over on that side.
So two questions.
Yes.
So if this is a digital blockchain currency, how is this different from Bitcoin?
In a sense, well, I'm not a crypto person by myself. So I came across because this is the solution. I always was solution focused, and when we found this was the missing piece, let's say, in our long journey of finding a new system, and that was the missing piece, let's say. I never been in crypto, but I've been told my friend, my partner in this, yeah, who we started that it's literally, this is the way. Then okay, if this is the way, then I will come into it. So I learned a little bit. What is the difference? Is there a difference like how people are taking money out of it and exchanging and all these things? However, the main difference is Lana, what we have. So Lana, and this is what it's really people needs to understand. Lana is as general. It has the main difference on the market, from the market side of it, is that the transaction fees in Lana, it's almost down to zero. So we can make transactions so cheap, so you won't even notice it that you send some Lana, some coins, so some transactions to someone. It's really down to zero. So it's like point something. So it's you won't count on it, right? So this is the main difference. How I see, and this is why we choose, let's say, Lana over Bitcoin or any other currency, because the transaction fees are just great, so much greater.
So
So
there is, so
yeah.
I guess with Bitcoin there is a great deal of speculation that goes on,
Yes,
and you've created as a system that is resistant to speculation. Is that
correct. So what we did, and this is also how we build, because what we need to understand is like everything, it's a game, and whoever is playing the financial system, they're playing a game with us, and we basically on the on from that perspective, we are the we're suffering from that game because we don't know that game, what they're playing. Yeah, and this is the biggest issue. My friend Joshua, who we did this, he's a financial guru. He's been in finance, and he created multiple multimillionaire companies in IT, in finance. He was the first one who created he's the one who created the first credit cards, who after banks took over. So he's a genius on this, and he knows how things build. Anyway, it's so the thing is with Lana is on the open market, as you see Bitcoin, right? We created this bubble inside of the millions and billions of token coins that is available on the financial market. We created this bubble, this small system inside we called registered Lanas. And anybody who comes to the registered world, we have rules. Yeah, it's not many, but we have rules. And this is like with rules like nature. Like, yeah, so it's no harm. Don't, like as I said at the beginning, it's the flow. It's there is no way that someone can, hold on Lanas and just wait and growing and not spending. So here it's like breathing. Like we cannot hold the air. We're afraid. So we're so much afraid to spend. But it's like if you, again, going back to the breathing analogy, is like, yeah, I can hold with fear. That is like, maybe the next breathing I don't have enough, and I'm just resisting. But that's not how it works. So with Lana, it's like we have this built in into the system that people needs to spend. That is how the flow is generated.
So, all right. So there's no speculation.
Mm.
The idea is flow. Um, I'm so sorry. My dog is now wanting to jump on the. It's yeah, turning into.
Invite him.
Okay, all right then. So that's it. Okay. Um. So there's no speculation, and there's the idea is that the currency keeps flowing. Okay. So are you saying that there's no way of saving whilst using this?
No, I didn't say that.
Right. So that's a good, that's a, so we need to make that very clear. So what do you,
Yes.
that it's designed to flow?
Right. So we have a very unique saving system, if I may call it that way. It's a one-time investment. Anybody can make. Uh, there is no and no rules or like when many systems that you have to invest. No, there is no investment. Anybody can start on a level as they feel, as they like, as they want to participate. Simply just opening an account and doing, for example, now we have the Lana Pays Us system, which we will come back a bit later, where people can really real transactions, real world transactions, they can put their business on it and they can start earning Lana through that. So they can start on that level. But if somebody really feels that this is something that I would like to participate in, the highest, and this is where, like again, there is no speculation. Nobody can put more than anybody can. So this is one-time value. Then we can all put £100 worth of Lanas into a. This is a medium long-term investment. Imagine that, you put that investment in, and as Lana grows, gradually you will be able to take money out of it. So it's part of it. It's released back to the flow, yeah, and you will be able to spend that. And as the value grows compared, because the system grows, and the value compared to the fiat currency obviously grows. So you will be able to get more and more out of it as the system is growing. But there is, again, it's no speculation. And in that period of time, when the flow, like the breathing happens, you also need to spend that. So again, you're not holding it. So the system will, this is the investment that anybody can make and to one time, and that's it.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly,
Yes, please.
take some money out of the bank and put it into Lana, but I can do that once.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't keep taking from my bank account and putting it into Lana. I can only do that once.
Yes. One
Right.
time, £100, and this is where again speculation
And
is
this is
reduced.
so that nobody is able to outdo other people and have too much. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so that's clear. So I have two ways of doing this. I can go in with by investing a certain amount or £100 maximum into it, or I can simply open an account and begin to trade in Lana. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, trading Lana is this is just to reflect on back what we mean trading Lana is. So Lana, we have this financial support system. So Lana is financing anybody who can who has a trade, and we every trade has a caretaker, right? Because what we love, it's really we want to create a better world, on Earth, better, more sustainability, better life for all. It's so whoever is, and I believe every business, every trade, every service, has an ability to expand, to grow towards, you know, betterment for all. So when a business, a provider signs up for Lana, we will look after it. Every Friday we have meetings where people will come, we gather together and we discuss about these projects, you know, people want to bring in. And we say that is, you know, we will say to them, so this is not quite, because there are two projects going on. So this is what I'm talking right now is the crowdfunding we also have. So for businesses, anybody can create a business, let's say unit, which is aligned with their current business or whatever, or they can create a new one. It doesn't really matter. But as I say, is in terms of support, what they get from us is depends on, you know, on their level of you know, sustainability, local trades, you know, and all that, and what it's been, you know, taken in account. And when they do that, so imagine, is there any way that I can share screen? Would
Yes.
that be okay?
And yes.
Okay. Because interestingly, I just been doing this. Okay, I think. Yeah, let's see if that works. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but is this no? I don't know. Hold on. I need to turn this. Nope. My screen at the top of the screen is. Okay. Well, let me find. So this is for the customers. Okay, let's start with the ideally we should start with the other one. Okay, stop sharing. So I will find another one, because I have two. Okay. I think I found it. Okay, let's start. Let's see this. Yeah. Okay. So I think this may explains, you know, a little bit better. So this is the leaflet I've been designing actually over these days. So this is what goes to providers. Okay. So what actually Lana does? Because what is Lana from this sense? It's much more, but from the perspective of exchange as businesses and, you know, trades. So Lana adds extra value on a normal buying and selling. Okay. Because as I said before, it's like we're not fighting with the current system. We make it more harmonized. We make it better, right? So what we do is, like, for example, you go to your local shop and you buy a loaf of bread from your local supplier, and you pay, let's say, £5, just easy to count. And if he's already like you know, making local bread and using, you know, natural, you know, ingredients, and, you know, then he can be like in a 20% discount already at that time, or incentives, which means you pay £5 for the bread, and he as a next to the, or as an addition to this exchange, which takes on as usual, he will get on his account extra 20%, either in Lana or in cash. So he can get like an extra pound in his bank account. Also, you as a shopper, as a customer, you will scan your card with him, and you will also receive 20% incentives in Lana on your card. So that's how we all benefit from it, from us normal transactions, as what we're doing, what we all longing for. And this is where the value is actually start to grow, the real value, what is being missing, because it's supporting for the people, for the local people, for who's doing good, who's caring, who's really doing things what we all want to make happen. And yeah.
Okay.
full
what
thing.
you are what you are saying is, if I understand you correctly,
Sure.
what you are saying is that you are using Lana to incentivize people who are working in a particular way that is in harmony, so using natural products, etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
For services. Yeah.
So Istvan, there are two questions I now have for you, because I can hear people out there
Yeah.
asking questions.
I know.
The first is the first question is about the QR codes, because a lot of people are uncomfortable with QR codes. So is this a safe system? Because so many of us are wanting to flee from digital
Yes.
anything. And here we have a digital currency in which you're using QR codes, which many are feeling are, shall we say, the work of the devil. So why would we want to be using QR codes?
You don't have to. I purely put it in a way because we have. So this is a digital code, the QR code, but it also has um, a not digitalized, like digits and numbers, basically letters and numbers code. So there are already cabin members who's using only the code instead of the QR code. So they can do so. It's inside of the system, even if they just have the card, or we can later on we can add the number also to it. It's for us it doesn't really matter. This just makes it much more simpler for the transaction, because imagine then when you go to the bakery, you don't want to type that number into
Mm.
into the transaction, because that's 32 digits or something. So it's a long secure number. But what's really important to understand, and I'm very much aware of this fear, and I've been also, I didn't want to use anything from the technology, but when I realized that the fear is inside of us, and the technology is not here to harm us. It's how we use, and anything can harm us if it's not used for the right way. So this is why and we have the system built in a way that everything is decentralized, all the information. So it's much deeper. It's not just finance we're talking about here, but information. Because what we're going into this, especially nowadays, is everything. Information is value. That is really the true value. And what we have in Lana, as many people, but not many people. Let's say, familiar with the term called Nostr. It's a new type of digital platform, or I don't even know how to name it. But the thing is that everything is also decentralized. So all the information that you have inside, it's yours. Nobody can have it. Everything is encrypted in a way nobody can have it. Nobody can find it unless they have this.
Okay. So the next question is, you talked about incentivizing people.
Yes.
And so, in some respects, what you're saying is you're rewarding businesses
Yes.
are operating in a way that
Encouraging
is,
them to do better.
yeah, okay. So here's the issue. That sounds to me like a social credit system, because the social credit system, and I'm not saying that that is your intention, but that this is a
You
deep
have to explain
philosophical.
that to me. What you
So this
mean behind it.
so this is a huge philosophical issue,
Mm-hmm.
because we have the social credit system as operated in China, whereby if people follow the rules and are good, nice little boys and girls, they are allowed to do certain things, and they are allowed to use the money in certain ways, and that's the way it goes. And if they don't, well, they can have their money cut off, etc. Now, obviously this is not what you're saying, but what I am getting at here is that we're still in this realm of somebody deciding what is ethical and what isn't. So there's still a lever of control that is being used. Now, obviously, in this situation, it's being used in what most of us would consider to be a beneficial way. But there's no getting away from the fact that this is not neutral. So that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, because I want to get away from any system that is not neutral, because it relies on the people who are running it to be fair always. And hey, guess what? Historically, we don't have a good track record of being able to keep that up. So,
no, I hear you.
So, what safeguards are in place here that we're not going to be, this is the other side of it's the other way of saying it is cancel culture. We cancel you if you don't do what we say. So how do we know that this system, which obviously has the best intentions, isn't at some point going to become corrupted? Maybe that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. No, it's a fair question. Thank you for asking. So we have two, let's say, system. System? No, it's not a system in a system. It's two application. Let's say we already have in place, and we using it. Since almost the beginning. So the first one is that we have our own voting system, like in Kabe. So nobody will make a decision and anybody can make a decision, anybody can make a voting. If somebody does not agree what we're doing collectively, then he or she can make, a proposal, and we all need to align. So we're working on everything is on alignment. Nobody can go outside of that. So if somebody does not agree what we all do, or as the current system, very welcome. So we're welcoming everybody to come and say, no, I don't like that. Yeah. But obviously, the person has to be part of the system, has to have commitment. So the commitment here is at least that one-time investment, which will take. So they take it seriously, and therefore they have the voice. So they can be part of that.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, sure, those who invest are, and this is an equal investment, so nobody invests more than another, but those who invest are involved in the decision-making process. What about those who don't invest, but actually are using Lana?
Well, it's not... put it that way. So sooner or later, because that investment, so if they're using it, it's going to be almost silly not to invest, because that investment, we're talking about £100, so it's not something that most of us can afford. And at this moment of time, and we're more than 500, no, almost 400 people invested into Lana 800, and the members are, I think, close to 1,000. Anyway, what it's important is, like, when people realizing the system, then it's a no-brainer that people want to start actually with the investment, which is not that easy, because even that is regulated. So it's not something that if tomorrow, 100 people want to come in, they cannot. So it's because everything has to grow. So the whole system is growing steadily. Therefore, is no way that manipulating or the system goes out of balance. Yeah. So that is how we controlling. Let's say that way. Coming back to the point like you made. Yeah. So that's basically on that level how we deal with that. And that is another thing also about owning. So owning means is like whoever, like, even if let's say I don't, or you don't like, what I proposed. Yeah, I made a new proposal, and you don't like it, and you just maybe don't like it because you don't like me, right? then then we go on to the because you have to say, when somebody is resisted, so has to have a proper way of saying why I don't like what you came up with. Yeah, this is why also it's like not just like I just come here and try to make the system imbalance, because there are people who just like to play, and we already had these people. This is why we made, because we learned that this is why we made that kind of way that it's at least you have to have some investment. Otherwise, people just come in and they think they can do whatever, and without really committing. Yeah. So then anyway, so if that happens, and the two-person or this scenario goes to the owning process, where everybody has to take self-responsibility on their own action. And this is a very simple, very easy to follow thing, and it never failed. It went through many cases, and it never fails. And the end is everybody has to take responsibility of their own actions. And if somebody cannot, then yes, we kindly put them into put their account for freeze. It's not that they out; they just on freeze until they resolve that issue within themselves.
Until basically they decide what they want to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was a very big kind of philosophical question, and I've got one question left, and it is of a practical nature. So
Sure.
I have a Lana account. I know that I can use it with other Lana account holders. Can I take my Lana earnings, if I can put it that way, or Lana
Yes.
savings, and translate that into the currency that we are currently using in the system, the fiat currency?
Yes. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, and is there any cost in that?
In like a
So, how do I do that? Do I is there is my bank, my fiat
mhm.
bank, going to
Yes.
charge me to take Lana and turn it into cash, or to put it into my account, or is there a charge from Lana's side to do that transaction?
Okay. I'll give you answer on that. So we have two. You have, as a Lana member, you will have two options to cash out. Neither way, the bank, they will not charge. So whatever is the value, this is what you will receive, right, on your bank. So from that perspective, I'm not aware. Maybe some banks, they do some small amount of charge. I don't know the bank I'm using. It doesn't do any charge, so I receive what is the value inside. Yeah. But inside we have two ways to cash out. So come back a little bit. So the whole Lana system, as value grows, it goes through splits. Again, we took this from nature, as nature, like from the mitosis, from the single cell, as an idea. Seed starts to split and develop, and as it splits, as it goes, doubling and doubling, the value grows. So that's what we use inside of Lana as the value compared to the fiat currency. So, and this is how we're able to support the traders, the customers, with Lana coin, with real value. Yeah. So that is on that terms. So we have two way to cash out. So if you want to use fiat, because this is, again, like you said, it's we still live in this financial world, and we need cash. So, and we using the same. So we're not different here. How you can cash out? So you can sell your Lana coins. So we have a selling platform, so you can put your Lana coins on there, and if somebody buys it, you will get the full price, as at that moment of the time in that split is the value of your Lana's worth. So you will get that if somebody buys. Yeah. If you want to sell it, for example, you want to, you need the cash instant, and you don't want to wait until somebody buys it, which you don't know. But if you need it today, for example, or in a few days, then you can sell it on Lana discount. Now, it could surprise you, but I will explain why it is. So it deducts 30% of the price of at the moment of the current price of Lana. Why it's deducting 30% is because we're using Lana discount is to supporting the people in that financial loop. What we created for example, Lana discount supports the customers. So every time the customer receives 20%, so that 30%, from that 30%, then 20% goes to the basically to the customer. So this is how we created the loop.
Okay. Well, you might want to stop sharing so that we can see better now. But you have given us a fabulous introduction to a very exciting and intriguing way of coming out of the system, really. So I want to thank you for your time today. Now, if people want to find you and learn more about how they can get involved, how do they do that?
I think is the best thing, honestly, that I can recommend to anybody is to come off one of my regular weekly meeting every Tuesday, 7:00. I have meetings, so it's all available. All the current meetings available on lanalovesexeter.com.
Okay,
and that's my official website, and it's everything is there on the front end. So
we'll be putting a link to your website then in the description box. Thank you very, very much.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you all for watching. Now, do remember that if you are not yet a member of the Community Assembly of the British Isles, every interview that you have watched on this channel is with one of our members. So I think by now you are understanding that we are up to some very exciting things, and it's time for you to join. So that link is in the description box. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.